Good morning, college and high school football fans. Well, here we go, y'all. Yet again, another edition of 3 and Out College Edition is here, ready to rock and roll on a Saturday morning. And well, here it comes, y'all. Playoffs. Oh my goodness. This has been just, I'll tell you, nothing takes the place of these shows, man. Coming up in a late November. I almost said Thanksgiving because I'm still in Thanksgiving mode. But nothing takes the place of these shows in like the second half, basically, of late November and all through December, because man, the playoffs are awesome. High school football, well, all is well with the top 10 except for one team who couldn't get past a certain round of the playoffs. We'll talk about them in a few minutes. Also, today is the day, the 3C2A, there's going to be 8 teams active, and only 4 will survive. Also, I think we have an idea now what's going on in the NJCAA. The NAIA playoffs, y'all. That's always a fun one. We're going to get into that in just a little bit. And of course, the tournament continues in D3, D2. And I think now we have an idea who's playing in that tournament in the FCS. You are now tuned in live to 3 and Out College Edition right here on IE Sports Radio. Your direct feed for all that is sports. Welcome, college football fans. Well, here we are, y'all. Well, once again, college and high school football fans. Man, here we are yet again. Saturday morning, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 a.m. on the East Coast if you're over there, and of course, everywhere in between, y'all. We are back at it, and here we go. We thank you so very much for being here today. Big ups, of course, to everybody. As always said, big ups to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. For without him, nothing is possible. That's right, y'all. Give me that. Yep. Got to get that applause going. And, of course, big ups to all of you guys out there. All of our awesome fans. Because without you guys, IE Sports Radio was not possible. We appreciate you all. And, of course, big ups to my boy, man. He, of course, is IE Sports Radio Hall of Famer. One half of this show, 3 and Out College Edition. The host of Set Point and the host of the SoCal Sports Sports Show. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Taryn Rodriguez. What's going on, brother? How you doing today, man?
Hey, Larry. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Ready to talk some college football with you, and I'm excited for today.
Hey, me too, man. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, by the way, man. Yes. Oh, it was so good. Thanksgiving, delicious as always. Got to enjoy a good Thanksgiving, man. Oh, lots of yummy food. It was just awesome. How was your Thanksgiving, brother? Oh, do we lose Taryn?
No, I'm here.
Oh, there you go.
It was pretty good. I had to work, which, I mean, it is what it is. But I eventually was able to hang out with my family. We went out to eat, and we all had a good time.
That's awesome, man. Well, I'm really happy that you had a really, really good Thanksgiving, man. And you deserve it, brother. Definitely deserve it. I'm glad you were able to be with the family and enjoy. And yeah, man. I mean, hey, I think we had a really good feast on Thursday, right? But I think our dinner, our Thanksgiving dessert in these last few days has been awesome. Because, boy, we've seen some fun stuff in the playoffs. Especially like Taryn and I were here in the southern section, CIF, Southern California, so we see a lot of different teams. I just got to say, big shout to Ramona, man. They won their first ever CIF title last night over Riverside Poly. 2 Riverside teams in the Inland Empire faced off for the first time ever, I think, if I'm not mistaken. This is what I thought I saw. um, and they faced off in the CIF final, and they both played, and it was a great game. But it was kind of lopsided. But big ups to Ramona. That's my wife's high school, Cecilia's high school. So yeah, she was pretty happy to see her Rams get that victory, and that was pretty cool, man. So Ramona gets it done. They're champions. They're moving on to state. Just so many cool little things going on here. But Taryn, before we start, man, and of course, before we get into the big D1 final here, any smaller divisions champions you want to talk about?
Well, last night, Corona Del Mar and Lucerna played one another, and unfortunately for the Sea Kings, Lucerna just straight up blew the doors off them. It was 49-29, the final score, but this one was kind of over by halftime as Lucerna erupted for 28 points in the second quarter. It was 7-3 after the first quarter in favor of Lucerna, but Lucerna just blew up for 28 points while holding CDM to only 6 blocked PAT after a touchdown. So, and it just goes to show how good Lucerna is. They were legit good. And you talk about the lower divisions. Tonight is Mission Viejo versus Servite. I want to say that's going to be at Mission Viejo just because home sites are using, or lower divisions use the home sites, whereas Division 1 uses the Coliseum. So if you're looking for an instant classic, that's probably the one you want to see, Servite Mission Viejo, because those two teams used to meet in the playoffs in the past, back when it was the Pac-5 division. So now we're getting the Servite and Mission Viejo of now.
Which is awesome, Taryn. I think it's really cool that we get, we still get some of those fun matchups from the past. That's crazy. Pac-5, totally forgot about all that. But yeah, Taryn, I mean, it's awesome. It's really cool. Yeah, Lucerna was just too much to handle for CDM, but awesome for them. Like I said, big ups to Ramona. I was over here on the Inland Empire. I mean, just great stuff. And of course, we got a big Division 1 we're going to talk about in just a few minutes. But Taryn, just awesome stuff, man. The D3 playoffs were really fun last week. The D2 playoffs, NAIA. But before we get into all that, we're going to dip into high school. And like I said, the top 10, Taryn, the top 10 was pretty solid yesterday. Everyone pretty much got through, except for one team. And boy, they were that little team that could all year. Until now, unfortunately, for these guys. But, so, in the current top 10, Max Prep's top 10 for high school football. Number 10, St. Thomas Aquinas. They were in the third round, and they got past the third round. They won 28-0 at home versus Coconut Creek. Next week, they're taking on Gaither out of Tampa Bay. I think that's the actual championship. But could be one more round after that, but I'm pretty sure a lot of these only go 4 rounds. So, some of them, at least. Okay. Other than that, next up, number 9, St. Joseph's Prep. And, of course, number 10, St. Thomas Aquinas out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Number 9, St. Joseph's Prep out of Philly. Taryn, these guys, it's just kind of weird how their playoffs were set. They played a playoff game. Remember, they played like 2 weeks ago, their first round, and now they're playing today, actually, versus Nazareth Aria, I believe, in the second round. So they're playing today, and all the best to them, to both teams. We have here number 8, Mill Creek. All right, Taryn, we got to put the brakes on right here, man. Mill Creek. We talked about Buford this year. Buford did amazing things. They played well. They started the season upsetting St. Francis, and they looked okay. St. Francis Academy, that is, out of Baltimore. They looked pretty good, man. And then Buford took a tumble, and then took an even bigger tumble when they would lose to these guys, number 8, Mill Creek, and out of Georgia. And I'll tell you, man, this Mill Creek team from Georgia would come up and look good. Well, that was the last stop for them this past week, Darren, because they would lose in the third round, 39-20 to Camden County. Tough go for those guys. But hey, good season for Mill Creek. And hey, all the best for Camden County, man. They're going to keep dancing. So, number 7, DeSoto. Well, they get past that third round in Texas, and they get a big Texas playoff in there. I was looking at it yesterday. So they're continuing here. 65-31 over Willis. and they play at the Alamo Dome. So big ups to those guys. They'll be playing next week versus TBA, at least at the moment. So good for them. We don't know yet. To be announced, they'll be playing in the 4th round next week. And another Texas team here. Number 6, North Shore, Houston. We had the DFW with number 7, DeSoto. And now we have the number 6 North Shore team out of Houston. They would get it done also, y'all. 3rd round, 45 to 9. Ouch, over Cy-Fair. They played at NRG Stadium. Pretty cool. And they will be playing next week versus, I believe, Atascocita. I don't know how to pronounce that, but Atascocita, I don't know. But I know they'll be playing next week. And yeah, they're continuing to dance as well. So good for them. Number 5. All right, Taryn. We're getting to our neck of the woods over here, man. Number 5. And I ain't talking about Mambo number 5. All right, Taryn. Well, here we go, man. Number 5, Mater Dei. The team who just didn't look so good at one point in the season. And it was literally just 1 point in the season, Darren. That's all it was. 1 point. When good old St. John Bosco would come and knock these guys senseless, man. 28-0, right? In the regular season. And Taryn, let me tell you, we knew that these two would meet again. And they did. St. John Bosco, Mater Dei, faced off last night for like the millionth time. And, well, it was about as one-sided as the last game, except for this time it was all Mater Dei. Mater Dei wins this thing 35-7, taking down number 3, St. John Bosco. And that's it. So now, Bosco season is done. Mater Dei is going to the Open, of course, CIF Open State. And as we keep on saying, Darren, every single week we're getting closer to our prediction. Will Mater Dei leapfrog Bishop Gorman if they go undefeated and win out in state in California? We'll see. But number 4, IMG Academy, they completed their 10-0 season last week, and I think that's it for them. No playoffs. Once again, they're a freelance team, so that's that. As we saw, number 3, St. John Bosco, they lost in the D1 championship, the CIF Division 1 championship to Mater Dei. Number 2, Chaminade Madonna out of Florida. They will win in the second round. They defeated Cardinal Newman 40-0. And next week they're taking on Archbishop Carroll. And then, of course, number 1, Bishop Gorman. Taryn, we have ourselves our first champion. Congratulations to Bishop Gorman. They defeated Liberty 56-11 in the Nevada State Championship. And these guys are all but done. They won it. They got it done. And I think that's the end of their season. Good job to the Gales. They earn a state title. And I guess the rest is just up to Max Preps. I don't know. But Taryn, any thoughts on any of these? And then, of course, please continue our question here. Will Mater Dei leapfrog Bishop Gorman? Oh, and Darren's muted. Let's try that one more time, Darren. You're good.
Yeah, so to answer the question, I think Mater Dei, it's tough. I feel that they're probably going to play San Mateo Serra in the state playoffs. I want to say they have a shot at leapfrogging Bishop Gorman, but it's going to have to be a numbers game just because has Mater Dei played the best opponents compared to Bishop Gorman and vice versa? That is kind of the $1 million question because Bishop Gorman can't fall any lower now, but Chaminade Madonna could if they lose their matchup next week. So it's up in the air, and now it's just a numbers game depending on RPI and whatnot. So we'll have to see what happens and whatnot.
Well, Taryn, that's exactly what I'm feeling, man. Is it gonna be the leapfrog game? I know I keep on like leapfrogging Chaminade Madonna here, but it's like Mater Dei. I don't know. once again, the strength of schedule is ridiculous for modern day, Aaron. These guys have played everybody. They go here, they go there. They play here, they play there. I mean, this school, they really do prove it, man. They really do. They prove it. They're a good, strong football team. They play everywhere they can. It's just, it is very, very hard to look. I mean, I'm here looking at the rankings, man. I mean, okay. So right now, modern day, they have played this year, of course. We talked about the schedule this year, of course, from the very start. We've talked about these guys all year. But, okay, so, Corona Centennial, Bingham, out of Utah, in South Jordan. Yeah. Creekside. Let's see. Kahuku, St. Francis Academy. Servite, of course, and then the Trinity League. Servite, J. Sarah, St. John Bosco, Oregon Lutheran, Santa Margarita, and then, yeah, J. Sarah again in the playoffs, Sierra Canyon, St. John Bosco. Okay, that is a major gauntlet, but they went 4-1 in the Trinity League. Okay, then you look at Bishop Gorman, and it's like, dude, okay, Corona Canyon, good school. Long Beach Poly, Central Miami. That they were good, but Taryn, they're nowhere to be found now. They fell back. Last year Central was amazing. This year we haven't even talked about Central, man. They've just kind of fallen off. But they also played Centennial. Okay, it's one of Centennial's only. Centennial only lost a couple times this year, and well, those were it. Centennial would have 3 losses on their schedule this year. And those 3 losses would come to the hands of course, St. John Bosco in the playoffs and Mater Dei and Bishop Gorman. I mean, Corona Centennial is the real deal, man. When you lose to those 3 schools, that's the best in the country right there, man. But anyway, going back to Bishop Gorman, Corona Canyon, Long Beach Poly, Central, Centennial. And then, of course, their league. Liberty, Silverado, Arborview, Shadow Ridge, Desert Pines, and then Coronado. And they play Coronado again, and then Liberty. Okay, so the playoffs are a little funny because it's very short in Nevada. They have their big open that they play. Bishop Gorman, of course, got the first round bye. And then it was Coronado over Desert Pines, Liberty over Silverado, and Shadow Ridge over Arborview. So, Taryn, if you really think about it, it's crazy how it works. But they play each other anyway in the regular season. So it's kind of like, what I'm seeing here is, it's like modern day. Play in the Trinity League. And then in the playoffs, there's just a playoff for the Trinity League. I mean, does that look... are you looking at this too? Like, are you getting? So, I mean, I don't know, Taryn. Like, okay, I'm not gonna be a biased Southern Californian over here, but Taryn, it's not that we don't know about some of these schools. But if you look at these schools, Arborview, Silverado, Shadow Ridge, Liberty. I mean, I feel like if there was a round robin with the Trinity League and these guys, I feel like the Trinity League would smash a lot of these guys, man. I mean, come on, dude, like, get out of here. Like, I'm sorry, and I don't want to lose listeners for Nevada, but bro, J. Sarah plays some schools around the country, dude. Like, these guys get down. Servite, that's a legendary. I had a coach from Servite when I played in high school, man. I mean, everything you hear about Servite's true. That's a legendary school. Okay, Matthew Slater, right? from the Patriots, okay, played there. I mean, dude, Orange Lou, man, Orange Lutheran is a big time school. Santa Margarita, I didn't really. It's funny, in high school I didn't really think too much of these guys. I was like, I don't know these guys. Well, then I found out real quick. Okay, they're a major school, and then throughout the years, like, okay, Santa Margarita is pretty damn good. Okay. So, I mean, Santa Margarita is one of the top programs here. And then, of course, I mean, you just look at these schools and you're just like, yeah, man, this Trinity League is pretty damn good. And St. John Bosco's in there. So, I don't know, Aaron. I mean, I don't want to sit here and sound like a biased Southern Californian. But if it really did come down to like strength schedule and everything, I mean, how do you not leapfrog with Mater Dei. I mean, because they get one loss, and I get that, but I don't know. I feel like, but then again, I guarantee you Nevada would have the argument of who else do we play? Who else do we play? We don't have anybody else. There's not, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of the population, I mean, everyone lives in Vegas or in Reno. You know what I mean? Like, there's not very much. It's kind of crazy. You know, there are places in Nevada, of course, lots of cities and everything, but when it comes down to it, these big powerhouse schools, they don't really have too many of those over there. And it's obvious, the population. You know what I mean? So Taryn, I don't know, dude. Like, what do you, this is crazy digging into this, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And I think we kind of have a little bit of a homework assignment after this. Just keep an eye on which teams were in the top 100 nationally, or maybe top 250 nationally, and then see which ones are the higher ranked. And then next week we'll probably figure out who deserves to be number one in Mater Dei or Bishop Gorman, just because something that might help out Mater Dei in terms of being the consensus number one is Servite winning tonight against Mission Viejo, because if Servite wins, that definitely gives Mater Dei a better case. Yes, Servite finished last in the Trinity League, but shutting them out 49-0 means a whole lot to them, just because, Servite will have won a CIF championship, and Mission Viejo, which wound up beating Marietta Valley in the previous round, quite impressively, it's still pretty good. I know Servite beat a Sarah team that was a little undermanned because they got banged up in the previous round, but still, Servite has a young team, and the fact that they went on the road to Sarah is impressive. So we got to really keep an eye on Servite Mission Viejo, as again, Servite wins, then it just proves that Mater Dei, I think, deserves to leapfrog. But next week, I should compile all the teams that are currently in the updated top 250, if not top 100, and then I'll put that together to see which teams have more wins, and nationally top 100.
That would be fun. No, it's true, man, because we got the 100 right here. I mean, that is a great idea, Darren, and the 100 is just, man, it's crazy to think, who's in there, who's not, and then once again, Chaminade Madonna, I feel horrible because we're sitting here just not talking about them. But, okay, Chaminade Madonna, of course, major school. But a reason being is because I know, I don't want to say Mater Dei is the darling here, but Mater Dei, they just do it, man. They do it. They play in a nasty league, and then they play big schools around the country. So, I mean, and then, taking a look at Chaminade Madonna this year, St. Francis Academy, Cardinal Gibbons, Bergen Catholic. Okay, that's a big-time school, Bergen Catholic out of New Jersey. But, American Heritage, another big school there out of Florida. Central, but dude, Central just disappeared. Central, seriously, I want to see how far Central fell this year. I mean, let's just take a quick look, man. I have to look at Central. Central finished 8-4 this year, dude. That's it. They fell off. I mean, they played 8-4, and I don't even know if they went to the playoffs. They did. They went to the playoffs, of course. But they lost to Norland 31-28 in overtime. And I don't know. It's just rough go for Central. But regardless, last year, this time we were talking, Central's a big deal, and they were. So they played them, Coconut Creek, Dillard, Avant Garde Academy here. And they played St. John Paul II Academy. And then they played Lakewood. Okay, cool. And then, in the playoffs, Avant Garde, Cardinal Newman. And then, like I said, they're going to be playing Archbishop Carroll. And looking at this, it looks like, once again, a big tournament, kind of like how Texas has theirs. And, yeah, I mean, this is it. Chaminade Madonna's pick, taking on Archbishop Carroll. It looks like number 1 seed, Chaminade Madonna, and the number 4 seed, Archbishop Carroll. And then number 2, Clearwater Central Catholic is taking on Trinity Christian Academy. So that game, those 2 games we played next week, and the week after that, we have the championship where the winner of those 2 teams play each other. I mean, I don't know, and this is a big tournament, Aaron. I mean, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. There's 16 teams in this tournament. And it's called the FHSAA football. So this is 1M, I guess. This is their I'm guessing like their big one over there, like how we have our, the open, or not the, I think they just combine the open. I don't know if they combine the open here. I don't know what they do, like how we do in California here in Southern California, but it's just crazy. Like, I know California's a much bigger state. We basically divide it between northern and southern. But yeah, Taryn, anyway, I don't know. It's crazy. This is various cities throughout Florida. So I don't know if this is all southern or northern, but hey, they're doing good. Okay. Chaminade Madonna, great school here. But once again, I just don't see the resume. Do you? You know what I mean? The Mater Dei has. That's the hard part. So, Mater Dei, yes, they lost one game. But, dude, that was to St. John Bosco, who went all the way to the Open. Okay? And was number 3 in the country when they were defeated by Mater Dei. So it's like, how do you not give Mater Dei the natty? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, Taryn. This is it's kind of crazy. But then again, the same thing with Bishop Gorman. Bishop Gorman could make that. I don't know. There's just a lot of argument here. Whoever gets the national championship this year, kudos to them. Hats off to them. That's awesome. But at the same exact time, I don't know. I just felt like, hey, they win, they don't. But you know what? Amazing seasons, and a lot of those guys are going to go to some big schools and play some great college football. So, but anyway, Terrence, so we'll get into that later. But man, I like the homework assignment. That sounds like fun. So, all right, Taryn. Here we go. 3C2A football. And this is it. We've come down to 4 teams, or to 8 teams. In the North, today we have City College of San Francisco taking on American River, and Modesto taking on San Mateo. In the South, we have Ventura taking on Fullerton, and Riverside City College taking on Mount Sac. Of course, Mount San Antonio. Taryn, I told my wife last night that I may or may not be very, very mad today if RCC just happens to fall to Mount Sac because they're so dang good. And I told her that they did it to themselves because losing to Fullerton the way they did was just ridiculous, but they lost. Fullerton I'm not going to diss Ventura, but I think Fullerton definitely has the simpler game today. And Mount Sac is, well, pretty dang good. The South is going to be a toss-up. That's for sure. I'm not counting out Ventura, but Fullerton is a great football team. And I could totally see this team doing something good this year. In the North, I love the matchups here. But when I look at those 4 teams there, and I'm staring at 2. I'm just staring at 2. So, who are you taking today in all 4 of these games?
So we'll start with SoCal first and foremost. That Riverside Mount Sac matchup is so tempting. I really think Riverside definitely has a chance, but Mount San Antonio is drastically improved, and their coach just recently was named the conference's coach of the year. So I think I'm going to play it safe and go with Riverside.
You're a good.
I think Riverside gets it done. I think it's going to be a dogfight, and it's going to be a slugfest. It's going to be amazing, regardless, no matter what. I really hope we don't get like a blowout or something. Then you have Ventura versus Florida. Fullerton, as Fullerton. Well, they have been swarming all over everybody, and them beating Riverside was pretty impressive. I definitely have to go with Fullerton, but do not count out those Ventura College Pirates. I really think Ventura can really bring it, and for them to get this far is quite impressive. So there's that one right there. Then for the Northern California semifinals, we've got San Francisco and American River. This one's a tricky one. I think San Francisco might have a chance at an upset here, but I also think American River is going to pull it out. So I got to make the safe pick and go with American River. Then Modesto versus San Mateo. When it comes to these two schools, all bets are off, and I still have to pick San Mateo.
Yeah, earlier you said that you think it's going to be Mater Dei and Mateo, right? San Mateo, J. Sarah?
Yeah, Sarah of San Mateo.
Oh, Sarah, yep. Sarah out of San Mateo. Well, Taryn, I don't know. I'm going to take San Francisco over American River, but regardless, I'm going to take San Mateo out of the North, regardless.
Yeah, same here.
Regardless, those Bulldogs are so damn good, man. CSM is a good school. I mean, last year, man, we thought them and Riverside was going to be a great game, and freaking San Mateo blew the doors off these fools, man. RCC looked like they didn't even want to play. They didn't even want to show up. And a couple years ago, RCC would win the title in 2019 over San Mateo. The very next year, Riverside would go back. Okay? Riverside, actually, 2020 they would skip. 2021, Riverside would go back, and freaking San Francisco would knock off Riverside. And then the past year, Riverside would go back and play San Mateo, and it was like, it was 55-0, wasn't it? 55-0.
Yeah. It was the first shutout in the 3C2A championship since, I think, the 60s.
Well, congratulations for making history, RCC. Okay? But, yeah, man. Anyway, big game. So, once again, San Mateo, man, they're nothing to mess with. And then in the South, man, I'm definitely going Fullerton over Ventura. I get it, and you're right, Darren. I'm not gonna slight Ventura. I think Ventura's gonna fight, man. Ventura's gonna play a good football game. I'm positive. I think they will. But dude, Mount Sac Riverside's a scary one. Of course, I'm going with Riverside, but man, let me tell you, that Mount Sac game. I know, brother. I played in that game. I played in one of those. We didn't get to play in the first one because there was the fires that year. In my freshman year, but the next year I got to play Mount Sac. That's a rivalry. All I needed to play in was one. Those rivalry. That is a rivalry, man. Trust me. Riverside and Mount Sac is a rivalry. So that's a fun one. So this should be a good one today. It looks like it's gonna be played over there in Walnut, I think in LA County. So all the best to all those teams. We'll see what they got. Taryn, the NJCAA is a weirdo. There's just nothing there. There is nothing. They've decided not to play football this weekend. But anyway, Taryn, next week on the 1st, we're getting Dog City in New Mexico Military in the Excel, that's with an X, XCEL, Energy Wool Bowl, in the Wool Bowl. WOOL. And then we have here, the playoffs are all set. Next Saturday, number 4, East Mississippi, last chance, the original last chance you. And we play at number 1 Hutchinson. And then we get here the other game, which is crazy, because this is how it's working, Darren. The other game hasn't been decided, because it says here, the New Mexico Military will play to be announced. And that winner, they're gonna, looks like it says here, the NJCAA semifinals and or Wool Bowl game. So I don't know what the hell is going on here. But from what it looks like, I don't know where that's coming from. Where it says semifinal here for these guys. I don't know, what's going on. But then the next day on Sunday, we get the other semifinal, which is Kilgore and Iowa Western. So I don't know what that game. I don't know what New Mexico Military has to do with the playoffs and the to be announced game. But I do know that there's 2 semifinals this week or next weekend, which is the 2nd. We get East Mississippi and Hutchinson, number 4 versus number 1, and then on Sunday the 3rd we get Kilgore versus Iowa Western. And I think, of course, the winner of those two play in the championship. I can't tell you what that other game is with the New Mexico Military. I don't even know what's happening there. But Snow will also play Iowa Central next week in the Game 1 Bowl. So good job for those guys. Hey, everyone made it, but yeah, Taryn. I don't know. I don't know what happened with the other game, but at least we're down to 4. From what it looks like, it seems we'll have more for you on next week. But East Mississippi, Hutchinson, Kilgore, Iowa Western, and then there were 4. Taryn, who are you picking?
So to answer your question for the New Mexico Military Bowl thing, I think they thought that they were going to make the playoffs. It's probably an assumption saying we could be in the semifinals or we could be playing in the Wool Bowl game. So I think it's going to be decided on which opponent they get. And I think that was probably just a mistake on their end, thinking that they could make the semifinals or they'll play in the Wool Bowl. But anyway, for next week's prediction, I will take Hutchinson. As much as I want to see East Mississippi advance, I think Hutchinson has been on their A game throughout most of the year. But then we have Kilgore and Iowa Western. Now, Kilgore is no pushover, I will say that, but I think Iowa Western is on a warpath to basically face Hutchinson yet again. So I think I gotta go with Iowa Western.
Those are good picks, actually. And once again, we'll revisit these next week, see if we still feel the same. But yeah, as for right now, I definitely gotta say I'm going to go Hutchinson. I think it's the collision course. We talked about it. They already played in the regular season, which is kind of crazy, just a couple weeks ago. But, yes, I'm going to go Iowa Western and Hutchinson. We'll see what these guys got this year in the final. That should be pretty fun. But once again, we'll revisit this next week and see how it goes. Taryn, the NAIA second round has been something, man. Wow, there was a lot of good games here, man. There were some good games in the NAIA. So, courtesy of the NAIA.org. All right, Taryn, last week. Well, it was a goodie. But all the teams we talked about last week, we made a pick 'em basically. And man, some of them were right on, some weren't, and that's okay. But yeah, man, last week was a crazy one. So, okay, last week let's see here, where were we at? Okay, so last week, St. Thomas, Taryn, they would do the unthinkable. They blew the doors off of Reinhardt, dude. First time in the tournament, and they are through, defeating Reinhardt 55-7, man, knocking these dudes backwards. Amazing game for them. Dort out of Iowa defeated Ottawa 35-7. Baker, so close. Louisiana Christian, another team who had their first time there. However, no cigar. Baker would defeat Louisiana Christian 56-28. And then good old Dickinson State would send Montana Tech packing 35-28. They were all great games. And well, Taryn, here we go again today. So first thing is, do you want to any comments on those games there, Taryn? They were pretty good.
Yeah, most of them were blowouts except for that Dickinson State Montana Tech game. That was a barn burner right there. That one came down to sorry. That one pretty much came down to the wire here, and it really boiled down to that second half. And fortunately for Dickinson State, they were able to hold on and get one more score than Montana Tech, just because first two quarters, it was basically Montana Tech leading 14-7, and then Dickinson State tying it up at 21 apiece. And then eventually, like I said, Dickinson State was able to get one more score in that second half, as they actually got the touchdown with like 8:35 to go off of a touchdown run. So all in all, for Dickinson State, they were able to have one leg up. And even though the defenses did give up quite a number of points, gotta give credit to Dickinson State on basically closing the deal when it needed to the most. So that was my impressive seeing when it came to Dickinson State winning on the road against Montana Tech.
That was a damn good game, man. So yes, congratulations to them. Taryn, we're on to this week, and we got some more fun facts, bro. We got some fun stuff to talk about here. All right, and so here we go, man. Let's take a look. So number 1, Northwestern out of Iowa. They're 11-0. And, well, I think we know a few things about this team. This is the champions from last year. The Red Raiders, as I said, hey, some Raiders got to be good, right? Because the real Raiders aren't. So, there has to be some kind of Raider team out there that's worth a crap. It's definitely not the one in Vegas. So the Northwestern College Red Raiders, yes, they're a very good football team. And, they're 11-0. And they're playing Dordt. Taryn, we talked about Dordt last week. Poor Dordt. They're number 16. This is sad. This is not fair. This is like in March Madness. Why? It's just so mean. You just gotta. Oh, that's so mean. Anyway, so Dordt number 16, 9-2. Says the Red Raiders are the reigning NAIA champions, riding a 24-game win streak. Dordt won 35-7 over Iowa, Kansas in the first round. Northwestern College has played in the most FCS games in history at 51. Cool. The Defenders, of course, Dordt, are 1-1 all time in FCS games and are playing in their second overall postseason run. In their previous matchup, Northwestern won 35-14. Okay, the Red Raiders are first nationally in first downs with 284 and third down percentage 60%. And Dordt is third rushing yards, 2,808, and fourth in sacks with 37. All right, Taryn, who are you picking?
I gotta go with Northwestern. It's definitely the safe pick, and nothing against Dordt, but Northwestern has the heart of a champion, and to repeat, you gotta basically go through the gauntlet.
Yeah, that's the truth, man. And good job, man. I mean, both teams, awesome stuff here. I mean, I hate to be so mean to Dordt because I'd love to see them get some kind of something done here, but. Oh, when number 1 plays number 16, it's kind of like a given. I don't know. I mean, hey, UMBC, remember them a couple years ago?
Yep.
I forgot who else. Madness. Yep, I forgot who else did that a couple years ago too. Number 1 upsetting at number 16. I mean, number 16 upsetting at number 1.
Virginia was upset by. Or was that UMBC that upset Virginia?
All I know is Virginia lost in the first round, and the next year they came back and won the whole tournament. That was embarrassing. You just can't. That's a given. If you lose the freaking first round, the very next year you better win the title, or else you're gonna be laughed at forever. So yeah.
Yep.
But all right, there. So number 2, Grandview, Iowa, 10-0, playing number 14, Dickinson State out of North Dakota, 10-1. The Vikings are one of 3 teams in the championship hunt with undefeated records. Dickinson State defeated Montana Tech 35-28 on the road last week. It says here, Grandview is of 2 institutions who have claimed a single NAIA title. DSU has appeared in the FCS 24 times, which is the second most in the field. Crazy. Grandview is second in the country in passing yards per attempt at 10.7, and Dickinson State is 4th nationally, scoring 46 of 53 trips to the red zone. Who are you taking, Darren?
I got to go with Grandview. Based on their history, I really like them in terms of the playoffs. I really think that they can make a deep run. As much as I want to see Dickinson State advance, I just don't think they have the horses to keep up with Grandview. So, and the fact that they nearly got past the first round, I really just don't trust them against Grandview. But again, you never know because it's any given Saturday in college football.
That's for sure. But yeah, man, being safe here, I'm going with the Vikings. All right, number 3, Kaiser out of Florida. Remember, they played last year versus Northwestern College, and they lost the championship. So last year's runner-up. Playing number 13, St. Thomas out of Florida. They're 9-3. The Seahawks, Kaiser, were the NAIA championship runners-up in 2022. Yep, the Bobcats bested Reinhardt out of last week, of course, out of Georgia by a 55-7 count. STU is playing in their first NAIA postseason. Kaiser won the Sun Conference Sun Conference crown. KU won the season matchup when they played 21-14 at home on October 7th. St. Thomas is the top scoring team in the nation at 568, and second per game at 47.3. The Seahawks are third in field goals on the season, 14 for 16, and fourth in rushing touchdowns at 34. Who are you taking?
Probably Kaiser. I think it'll be close though. I think St. Thomas can kind of keep up with them, but I think Kaiser just pulls away in the second half.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to pull away as well. Give me Kaiser, but hopefully this is a fun game to watch. So I want to see some of these. Gosh darn, I hope they stream some of these. But okay, number 4, Georgetown, Kentucky. 8-1, taking on number 15 Baker out of Kansas, 9-2. So the Tigers claim their berth as winners of the the Mid-South Conference. Baker outlasted Louisiana Christian by a score of 56-38 in the highest scoring first round game. Crazy. We have here Georgetown is one of 3 teams with a trio of national championships to their name. The Wildcats have an even 19 for 19 overall postseason record in history. Baker have grabbed 25 interceptions, the most in the NAIA, and the Tigers have the least number of penalties on the season with 37 total. That's interesting. Taryn, who are you taking here?
This one, I think, is actually going to be the tough one for me to predict, just because Baker has a lot of interceptions, but then Georgetown is less disciplined in terms of their few penalties. And Baker hung 56 on Louisiana last week, so...
This is a tough one. This is actually a very tough one, man.
You know what? I'm going to be bold and say Baker wins it.
Oh, he's taking Baker! Hey, dude, Baker is one hell of a school, man. I'll tell you right now. This is... Yeah, it's a good pick. This is a hard one to get wrong, in my opinion. They're a damn good school, man. I think Baker can definitely do it. I'm going to go Georgetown, but, dude, this is going to be good. What's going on, Mikey? 2 Guns in the chat room, man. Got to give our boy an applause, man. He's all happy. We're going to talk about some Massachusetts schools coming up in Division III in a few minutes here, but, yeah, man. Yeah. Gotta love our dude, Mikey 2 Guns in the chat over here. Getting them involved in some college football. So, alrighty. This would be a fun one, Taryn. We're taking opposites here. So, Baker for Taryn, Georgetown for me. We're talking NAIA playoffs here. Second round. Alright, Taryn. Number 5, Marion out of Indiana. 9-1. They're taking on number 12, St. Xavier out of Illinois at 7-3. The Knights snagged an at-large berth out of the Mid-States Football Association. SXU were the Mid-State Football Association Midwest champions. Marion owns 2 NAIA red banners, while the Cougars claimed 1. So yeah, it's true. Both these schools have actually won a banner, at least one. Okay, MU defeated St. X on September 9th at home by a score of 28-21. St. Xavier is the first in the NAIA in sacks with 40 and fourth in kick return average at 24.0. And Marion is third in passing yards per attempt, 10.2, and fourth in yards per completed pass at 17.1. This one, this is a tough one too, but who are you taking, Darren?
I'm probably going to take Marion just to be safe. Again, I think it's going to be a close one. I think St. Xavier can bring it with that defense, but I think Marion just ekes out a win.
I'm with you, Taryn. I'm going Marion as well. Next up, number 7, Bethel out of Tennessee, taking on, they're 10-1, taking on number 9, Evangel out of Missouri. They're 11-0. So the Wildcats are playing in their 7th FCS. That's crazy. Looks like their 7th postseason here. Evangel is third in the final team remaining that is undefeated on the season. Oh, that's crazy! There's only 3 undefeateds remaining. So, okay. After that, we have here, let's take a look what is coming up next. Let's see. Bethel earned their spot by way of an at-large selection. The Valor came from or claimed the Kansas Collegiate Athletic Association or Athletic Conference. Kessinger Divisional Championship, I think it's there. The Wildcats are first in punt return yards, 26 for 403, and the second in passing touchdowns, 36. And Evangel is the first in fumble recoveries, 18, and fourth in home attendance average, 2,855. So a lot of people show up for them. Taryn, who are you taking?
I think I'm taking Bethel in a close one. This one, I think, is going to come down to one score. I think it's going to be a one-score game. I think Bethel just wins by a nose.
That is a good prediction. I'm going Bethel as well. That's going to be a fun game, though, man. That's a very evenly matched game. And then, of course, the final game of today in the NAIA playoffs, second round. Number 8, Montana Western. They're 9-1, taking on number 11, College of Idaho at 8-2. The Frontier Conference foes will rematch in the FCS second round. College of Idaho claimed the first meeting in week 2 by a 37-35 count at home. That's crazy. They played earlier in the season. Now here they are playing in the second round of the playoffs. The Bulldogs went on to win the Frontier Championship for their 5th trip to the FCS. C of I. Okay, C of I. I guess, yeah, there you go. C of I. College of Idaho is in the field for only the second time in program history. From 2019, they played in their first. That's pretty cool. UMW is first in fourth down percentage, 77, and fourth in yards per game, 465.5. And the Yotes are second in total home crowds with 18,031 people and sixth in passing touchdowns with 30. Whoever their statisticians are, they really dig. That's awesome. Taryn, who are you taking in this game?
Well, I mean, it all depends on if Montana Western's going to actually get the chance to go for it on fourth down, because you don't want to be too crazy happy on going for it on fourth down when it's like in not so good territory and if the yards aren't in your favor. Mm-hmm. I'm actually going to take College of Idaho for this one.
Hey! You know, Taryn, we all got to make a jump every now and then. I'm going to take College of Idaho, too. I'm going to take C of I. C of I! Good pick there, Taryn. Good pick. Yeah, let's see what they do, man. But, alrighty. Well, Taryn, what the crap? Division 3 was fun last week, dude. Division 3 was fun. Well, that first bracket... Well, the whole bracket was just, it was fun picking last week. Let's see how we're doing so far. So the top left bracket, Wisconsin Lacrosse absolutely belts Minnesota Morris like we thought they were. 62-7. Aurora will defeat Co 20-7. Trinity out of Texas will stomp out. And I picked Hardin Simmons in this one, gosh dang it. I really thought they were going to win, but Hardin Simmons goes down, man, 20-6. And then, of course, North Central out of Illinois. You know, the defending champions. You know that school, right, Taryn? That school that's really, really good. Well, I'm sorry, Belhaven. 65-0. North Central's pretty good. Good season for Belhaven, but North Central's going to keep dancing. So, okay, bottom left, we have Wartburg absolutely blowing the doors off Illinois College, 49-14. Whitworth, damn it. Another year, the SIAC just can't seem to get into the second round. Taryn, we gotta look that up. I don't know if a SIAC school has ever made it to the second round ever. This is ridiculous. Like, gosh dang it! Come on, Chapman. Anyway, Whitworth will defeat Chapman 42-28 as they move on. Wheaton out of Illinois defeats Mount St. Joseph 41-34. And Wisconsin Whitewater, well, they get it done defeating Bethel out of Minnesota 42-14. All right, top right bracket. Mount Union does what Mount Union usually does, and they will destroy Alfred State 56-14. Alma will defeat DePaul 32-17. Cortland, New York will defeat Endicott out of Massachusetts 23-17. Sorry about that, Mikey Two Guns, but definitely a good game there. Good season for Endicott out of Massachusetts. And then, of course, Grove City will defeat Susquehanna 21-20. And that was a very, very, very good game. And then, of course, bottom right bracket, Johns Hopkins will defeat Western Connecticut 62-20. Union out of New York will defeat Delaware Valley 24-16. Ithaca defeats Springfield 21-7, and Randolph-Macon will defeat Chris Newport. That sounds like a guy. Chris Newport. Just kidding. I mean, it is named after him. 28-20. All right, Darren. How do we do in the first round? How did you do?
I would have to go back and look at it.
Yeah, me too.
I would not be surprised if I whiffed on some of these picks.
I know, me too. But all right, second round, Darren. Top left bracket, and then there were four in every bracket. Wisconsin lacrosse taking on Aurora. This looks like a good football game, man. Aurora played pretty well. This little strong school here out of Illinois. But it's Wisconsin lacrosse, and this year they've played pretty dang good. Then Trinity out of Texas, they're taking on the defending champions, North Central out of Illinois. Darren, this is a fun little bracket here. Who are you taking in these two games?
I gotta take Wisconsin lacrosse and North Central. I think those two have the ability to put points on the board and keep their opponents off the scoreboard. So it was a fun run for Aurora and Trinity, but I think North Central and Wisconsin lacrosse are able to get the job done. I'm hoping we don't get too much of a blowout, though.
Ditto. Yes, I'm right there with you, man. I think both those teams are going to rock and roll, man. They're going to meet in the semi or in the quarter at least. But yeah, it's going to be fun. So, all right, Darren. Next up here, Wartburg, bottom left, Wartburg and Whitworth, and then Wheaton, Illinois, and Wisconsin Whitewater. Okay. Both these teams played really well last year. Wartburg was like the comeback kings twice last year. They came back and won two really good games. No cigar though in the final. Whitworth, they looked pretty good. You know, as I said, I got to play these guys back in college. Very good team here. But overall, guys, Whitworth, Wartburg, this should be a fun game. I don't know. That's a toughie. Wheaton, Illinois, and Wisconsin Whitewater. I don't want to be a little one-sided here, but I think I have my pick for that one for sure. But Darren, who are you taking?
I'm going to take Wartburg and Wisconsin Whitewater.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be as big of a blowout regarding Wheaton and Wisconsin Whitewater. I think that one might be high scoring, but I think Wisconsin Whitewater definitely gets the job done. And then Wartburg, I think they just roll past Whitworth. I just don't think Whitworth has the defense to keep up with Wartburg.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. We're taking the two same picks yet again, Wartburg and Whitewater in that bottom left. All right, top right bracket. Mount Union. Just kidding, sorry. Mount Union taking on Alma, and Cortland taking on Grove City. All right, Darren. I'm going to sound like a jerk, but Mount Union's going to win this bracket. I'm sorry to count everybody else out. I mean, obviously Mount Union today, and I'm going to go with just because I think both, it should be a fun little game here between these two. It's going to be this should be a fun game between these two. It sucks because the winner is going to play the eventual beastie monster of Mount Union. And I hate to count out Alma so quickly, but Mount Union's pretty good. They're the Purple Raiders, and as I always say, Taryn, some Raiders have to win. And hey, these Raiders are purple. Maybe the Raiders should do that. Maybe Vegas should do that. The Silver Raiders. It feels like if you put something in front of Raiders, you're pretty good. I don't know. Because if you're just the Raiders, you suck. Anyway, so I'm going to go Mount Union here. And for sure, and then I'm gonna go. Give me Grove City. What do you think, Darren?
I'm gonna take Mount Union, obviously, and I'm actually gonna go different here. I'm gonna take Cortland in a very, 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 very close one. Probably gonna be an ugly game.
Yeah, you gotta love those, right? I'm gonna enjoy that. So, all right, that should be a fun game. And then, of course, bottom right, Johns Hopkins taking on Union, New York. That should be fun. Ithaca taking on Randolph-Macon. Oh, that's a fun one. Oh, my gosh. Once again, that bottom game is going to be good. Ithaca and Randolph-Macon, I really think. I'm not going to say that it's going to be a blowout, but I'm going to take Johns Hopkins over Union, even though Union is a good school. We see them here a lot in the playoffs. But give me Johns Hopkins, and then I'm going to go Ithaca. How about you?
I'll take those two as well. I pick Ithaca in a very close game, and Johns Hopkins, I wouldn't say in a blowout, but it's probably going to be a second half pull away.
Yeah, I could totally see that, man. So, okay. There we go. Let's see how our picks do for next week in Division 3 in those playoffs. Division 2 playoffs, Darren. Last week, Slippery Rock just smacked around East Stroudsburg, man. 45-14, my goodness. Charleston, however, out of West Virginia and New Haven had a very good game here. 52-44, Charleston wins this thing. Kutztown will just, man, dang. I thought this was going to be a closer game than this, but Kutztown defeats Virginia Union 38-14. Oh, yeah. You're going to look good in that game. Kutztown moves forward. Bottom left, we have Lenore Ryan defeating Shepherd 63-17. And we all know Mr. Bajent's very mad about that game. I'm just kidding. But good job. 63-17. Once again, Lenore Ryan gets going. Delta State just made me very angry last week, defeating West Florida, because I was so happy for this one. But no, they can't let them have it. Just kidding. But Delta State, man, looked good. 49-14, sending the Argos home. Valdosta State defeats Limestone 62-41. Ouch. Big ups there. We all knew Valdosta State was going to go, right? The big time school there. And then top right-hand corner, Central Missouri defeating Henderson State 56-14. Grand Valley, Taryn, this was the game last week. This was the game. Well, last year, 2 years ago, Ferris State would win the title. Their first ever. Last year, Ferris State would lose in the regular season to Grand Valley, but they would meet again in the playoffs, and Ferris State would defeat Grand Valley, and they would also win another title. This year, Taryn, Grand Valley would defeat Ferris State in the regular season, and guess what? They defeated them again. This was a close one, 21-14, man. Grand Valley, how about them Lakers? Because once again, some Lakers have to be good, right, Taryn? Because, well, you know, the original Lakers aren't that good. However, you know, star-studded team, and they can't freaking be over 500. I'm sorry. Maybe they are now. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention. Lakers suck. Anyway, I'm sorry, Darren. But these Lakers out of Grand Valley State, yeah, these Lakers don't need LeBron James. I'm just kidding. They don't need Anthony Davis, who can't do anything. I'm sorry. Am I going too far into this? I'm sorry, Darren. Anyway, yes, Grand Valley State got a nice victory here as they are moving on now. And they'll be taking on Pittsburgh State. Pittsburgh State's 35-14 over University of Indianapolis. UIndy. 35-14. Good job for them. And then, of course, bottom right, we have Augustana out of South Dakota defeating Minnesota State. No, down go the Mavericks. Just kidding. 51-14. Augustana was clearly the better team in that game. Central Washington defeats Western Colorado 16-13. And then Bemidji State defeats Texas Permian Basin 10-3 in a very good defensive game. All right, Taryn. Let's go. Quick picks around the league here. Let's have around the bracket. Let's have some fun. Tiffin, they were the first round bye last week in the top left-hand bracket. They'll be taking on Slippery Rock this week. Taryn, who are you taking?
I am going to take Tiffin.
Yeah, me too. I want to take Slippery Rock. It's such a cool name. And then SRU. It sounds cool. SRU. Yeah, but I don't know. yeah, I think Tiffin's definitely going to get done. Also, Charleston out of West Virginia taking on Kutztown. This should be a good game.
I'm going to take Kutztown, actually. I just, if you're looking at last week's game between New Haven and Charleston, I don't think Charleston has the defense to keep up.
Yeah, they lit up 44 points, man. I don't know. But Kutztown, they can score, and I think they're going to score a lot here. So, yes. Next up, we have Benedict, number 1 seed in the bottom left. They're the first round bye. They're taking on Lenore Ryan, coming off that big victory over Shepherd. Once again, Bajent is very mad right now. I'm just kidding. Then we have Delta State taking on Valdosta State. Who are you taking?
I'm actually going to go with Lenore Ryan and Delta State.
Yeah, I feel like Lenore Ryan is just a good team. I don't know. I'm not. This is nothing on Benedict. Nothing. And they'll probably. I don't know. They'll probably win this game because of this. But Lenore Ryan, I just feel like this is like the underdog team that could right now. They're going to get it. LRU looking good. And then they got this. And Delta State, Valdosta State should be fun. But give me. Wait, who'd you take? Did you take Valdosta?
Delta.
Okay, I'm taking Valdosta, man. So let's see how these guys go. Top right-hand corner. All right, Harding. Hey, the Harding Bison these guys look pretty good. Harding-Simmons lost in Division 3, so Harding, I think, is going to win in Division 2. They're taking on Central Missouri. And then, here we go, Taryn. Grand Valley State. Like I said, the Lakers are dancing. They're continuing, man. They're playing Pittsburgh State. They're a strong school out of Kansas. Taryn, this is going to be a fun... I like this top right bracket. Who are you taking?
I'm going to take Harding and Grand Valley State
Me too.
to come out.
Me too. I'm just like low-key cheering for the freaking Lakers. I'm low-key cheering for Grand Valley State. But yeah, Harding I think is going to get it done. And I'm going to go Grand Valley State in this one. And then bottom right-hand corner, number 1 overall, I think overall, School of Mines. They're taking on Augustana. And I'll tell you right now, Augustana's ready, man. They done rolled over the Mavericks last week. So I think they're going to fight. I don't think they're going to win it, but I think they're going to fight. I'm going to go with School of Mines to win this thing. And then Central Washington taking on Bemidji State. I don't know, man. That was a good defensive game last week between them and Texas Permian Basin. Actually, both of them had a pretty good defensive game. But give me Central Washington. So what do you think, Darren?
Yeah, I'll take Colorado School of Mines in a close one, and I'll take Central Washington in a slugfest.
Yeah, I think so too. Good picks there, Taryn. Good picks. So, okay, there is Division 2 all in the books. And, well, we're going to move it on forward now into some FCS because, well, Taryn, the FCS, of course, they get down a little bit later in football and setting up their brackets here. But it's all been done. And, well, we have ourselves a bracket, Taryn. We have ourselves a bracket. And, hey, big ups to Jen B. What's up, Jen? Good to see you in the chat here. Of course, the host of the Show of the Land here on IE Sports Radio, talking all Cleveland, Columbus, basically northern Ohio sports. Okay? So, OH. So, all right. So, all right, Taryn. We now have an FCS bracket. But I gotta say, man, last week was a fun one in the FCS. Look, final week of the regular season, we knew it was gonna be fun. Look, this week is like the continued rivalry week, okay, around the country. But dude, last week, man, was last week fun. But there was only one game, Taryn, that we just had to zone in on. There was just one game that we really zoned in on, said that this was going to be just the game. And boy, oh boy, was it a game. A one-sided game. Taryn, what the hell happened? Montana State showed up to the game, and so did Montana. This is a rivalry that we went over last week. Bobcats and Grizzlies. It was a rivalry. We got into talking about it, the wins and losses. But, dude, I mean, wow. 8-2 Bobcats taking on the 9-1 Grizzlies. The Bobcats start off the season. They went to the championship last year, dude, and they lost. This school looked like they were on the warpath this year, man. And then Montana was the slow climber this year. They only lost one game. I mean, taking a look at these two teams, Taryn, Montana State, I mean, it's incredible. 2 losses on the season. Idaho was the weird one, happening at the end of last month when they lost to the Vandals 24-12 or 24-21. And, it's like, whoa, what happened? What happened in that game? Regardless, and then South Dakota State earlier on in the year, where they lost them 20-16. But Taryn, the slow creeper here was Montana. They lost one game to Northern Arizona 28-14. That was a weird game because they probably should have won that game. The way that Montana State should have probably beat Idaho. South Dakota State's the only game on that schedule for Montana State that should be a loss. And for these guys, for the Grizzlies, they didn't play South Dakota State. So, Darren, I mean, this was a build-up like no other, but Montana, man, absolutely took Montana State around the woodshed, dude. 37-7. The Grizzlies just dominate Montana State. And, well, dude, I mean, my gosh, that sucks. Now, I just wanted to recap that real quick, man, but, it didn't do anything. I mean, don't get me wrong, both teams are still in, and they both get a first-round bye, but, what about that game, Taryn? What about that game? Like, do you have anything to say for that Montana State game?
I was very surprised that Montana State just laid a goose egg, and it just happens in rivalry games. That's why that's the beauty of rivalry games. All bets are off, and anything can happen. And Montana just laid down the wood, and it just goes to show that heck, maybe Montana has something we don't know.
Well, they're definitely playing great, man. So let's see what these guys got. So, moving on over, the bracket has been set. Taryn, top left. Oh, Gen B says go Purple Raiders. Yeah, we talked about them a few minutes ago, and we know they're going to dominate their bracket and move forward into them semis. But we'll see. All right, next up here, Taryn, FCS top left bracket. Gardner-Webb taking on Mercer. The winner of that game will get fed to the monster. I'm kidding. They take on South Dakota State. And then we have Duquesne. That's right, Duquesne. Spell it, go ahead. Just kidding. Duquesne taking on Youngstown State, and the winner will take on Villanova. Home of Brian Westbrook, I think, right? Play for Villanova. So anyway, Taryn, who are you taking in the top left this week?
I'm going to take Gardner-Webb and Youngstown State.
Me too. I think that's two good picks there to pick out of the top left. All right, bottom left-hand bracket, we have here the first round buys are University of Albany and Idaho, the Vandals. Then we have here the first round. We have NC Central taking on Richmond and Nicholas taking on Southern Illinois. Jen says, "Go YSU." Yeah, I think Youngstown State's going to win that thing. So, okay, Taryn, who are you taking? NC Central, Richmond, Nichols, Southern Illinois.
I'm going to take NC Central and Southern Illinois.
Yeah, I think they're two good picks to take there as well. Top right-hand bracket, Sacramento State and North Dakota. The winner will take on South Dakota, first round bye, and Montana State will await the winner of Drake and North Dakota State. Taryn, hey, the Bison still made it, even though they had a horrible season. All right, Taryn, who you got?
I'm going to take North Dakota and North Dakota and North Dakota State this week, because if I recall correctly, I think Sacramento State lost last week to UC Davis. I don't know about that one. That one kind of doesn't sit well with me. But I'm taking the North Dakota schools this week.
Sacramento State's like fool's gold this year, man. I thought the school was going to be like,
yeah, Davis did beat them 31-21.
Yeah, they got him, dude. I mean, how about that, right? I mean, I don't know. But I'm going to definitely go with North Dakota here and North Dakota State. Let's see what happens. That second round is going to be fun. North Dakota State, North Dakota taking on South Dakota. That's a rivalry game, bro. They already played again this year. You got to love that rivalry game if they play next week. We shall see.
Mm-hmm.
But man, that game in the regular season was fun. So I mean, let's see who does what. But all right, Taryn. Then next up, bottom right hand bracket, we have Chattanooga playing Austin Peay, and we also have Lafayette taking on Delaware. The winner of Chattanooga and Austin Peay will take on Furman, and Montana awaits the winner of Lafayette and Delaware. Who are you taking?
I'm going to take Chattanooga and Delaware.
Good picks there. Good picks. I'm going to go same thing, Chattanooga and Delaware for next week. To take on Furman and Montana for next week. So, Taryn, fun stuff here. Division I, FCS. Oh, yes. And we've made it, Taryn. Division I, double A, or single A. We have made it. And Rivalry Week has already been here. I don't know why they call it rivalry. Can we just call it like Rivalry Month or something like that? Like, it's weird. We get all these different rivalry games, but I guess you can call this the true Rivalry Week or whatever, because this is it. This is the last hurrah, if you will, in single A, because next week, of course, we have the championships, and then after this, we get the Army-Navy game, and then after that, bowl season starts. So this is it. This is the last week of the regular season. Here we go. And let's see what we got. So let's go. Yeah, here we go. Okay, am I the only one who realizes Dak Prescott too with his hilarious cadence? Am I the only one, Taryn?
I think, yeah.
Because if you watch Cowboy games, because I mean, of course, I watch all the games, send a ticket, and then, of course, last week on Thanksgiving, he's kind of clarified it for me. But if you listen to Dak Prescott, when he does his cadence, he'll be like, down! And then he'll, like, go up there and be like, yeah, here we go, set, go! He does it every time. It's hilarious. I don't know. Am I the only one who realizes that? I don't know, but that's what he does. Yeah, here we go, set. Like... So I don't know, but yeah. So this is the here we go segment. Darren, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But yeah, Mikey Two Gun says praying Boston College gets selected for the Fenway Bowl. Dude, how cool would that be? I mean, right? You got to play at the Fenway Bowl, man. I'm with that. So all right, so Darren, here we go, man. Going into the final week 13, if you will. Big ups to Marcus Lowe's great in the chat. Once again, the host of our combat sports show here, Gloves Off. And of course, Mikey Two Guns, man, as always, the host of our Bleepin' City here on IE Sports Radio, covering all things Boston, all things Massachusetts. So, all right, Taryn, here we go, man. Final week, regular season. We got some fun ones today. We got one in particular that I think is the funnest, but we'll get to that shortly. Rivalry week times 2 or whatever you want to call it. We'll play it today. Will be today. Taryn, Fresno State and San Diego State. Fresno State is 8-3. They've played very well. San Diego State is 3-8. They've played like crap. Can someone please explain to me why Fresno is only favored by 5 points? Taryn, would you like to explain that to me?
Probably because Fresno State has been struggling as of late, and San Diego State has a solid defense, but it turns into a pumpkin when they play better teams. As the last 2 games for Fresno State, they've actually lost. They lost to New Mexico, which I did not see that one coming, and they lost to Fresno State, or they lost to San Jose State, which, I mean, it's a kind of a little mini rivalry game. It's kind of an inner area rivalry. So I kind of don't blame the people for putting Fresno State as only a 5-point favorite. But yeah, that's kind of interesting on why Fresno State is only 5-point favorites against a San Diego State team, which has been anything but spectacular this year.
Like literally anything but spectacular. Marcus Lowe's Great says San Diego needs to burn it to the ground to start over. I agree, man. They need to just, they
need to hire David Shaw, the former Stanford coach.
Yes, I would love that. Let's go Aztecs. I would love that. All right, Taryn. Well, it should be the game of the week. It should be. But, you know, these two teams love playing. They love playing each other. You know, as a matter of fact, Taryn, let me tell you. I'm sorry. Look, I don't know. The TV deal crap needs to end. I'm sorry. The game of the week crap, can we, like, not do that, please? Like, I don't know. I don't know. But, yeah, the games of the week, like, this game of the week, this week, let me see, where is it at? The ABC game, well, ABC game looks pretty good, actually. But the NBC game, I don't even think we have one of those this week. This is so weird. I don't know why they do this. It's so freaking awkward. But anyway, we're going to save that game of the week until the end, because I think that's the true game of the week. So, all right, next up here today, Alabama-Auburn, Iron Bowl. Alabama, number 8, Auburn, 6-5. It's not that good. Alabama 10-1. Alabama's favored by 14 points. Darren, is Auburn going to win this game?
I mean, the only thing they have going for them is that they're playing at home, but against Alabama, I think it's going to be roll tide roll.
Yeah, I think the tide's going to roll. I think they're going to roll pretty good. You know, we had some good games even last night. I mean, you know, we really did. The Civil War, that was I thought it was going to be better, but it wasn't because Oregon just smacked around Oregon State 31-7. That was very disappointing. I was very, very, very disappointing for that game. I thought that was going to be a much better game, but yeah, disappointing as can be. Last night, Darren, there is a question I need to ask you. It's a very serious question. This is probably the most serious question of every show, Darren. Last night, Miami defeated Boston College 45-20. Taryn, Miami is now 7-5 on the season. Taryn, is Miami back?
No.
I'm sorry I had to. Yes, for those of you who have not been with us all season, we have a very fun segment. It's a very short one every week, but we like to call it Taryn, is Miami back?
No.
I should make a sound effect and press the button for that one, like how these ones are, the little ones we press over here, like the yeehaw and all that. I should just do that, Is Miami back?
Yeah.
Well, according to Taryn, Miami is in fact not back, even though they just won this game. I'm sorry. Is it mean to be mean to them? Is it really?
No.
Okay.
Really.
Okay, anyway. Miami is in fact not back. So, okay. Thursday, we had the Egg Bowl. And yet another crappy... it wasn't crappy. It was a pretty good game. But number 12, Ole Miss, we knew they were going to win this game. And they did, 17-7. And really, that was it, Darren. We had a really jacked up game last week. Yesterday. Number 13, Oklahoma destroys TCU, 69-45. Just goes to show you TCU is truly that was just the one and done last year of looking cool.
I thought that was a college basketball game at first.
I did too, actually. And then, of course, number 11, Penn State destroys Michigan State 42-0. Just some of these games. The Red Raiders, the better Red Raiders are Northwestern College, apparently, out of the NAIA, because the Red Raiders out of Texas Tech are not very good. Number 7, Texas, the Longhorns, just smack around Texas Tech 57-7. So, yesterday was just we had an Ohio battle here. The Bobcats would defeat the Zips of Akron 25-14. So yeah, Akron, good job for them. But anyway, Darren, back to the games we're picking for today. Sorry, I had to backtrack a little bit there. But okay, so let's go ahead and continue here. Rivalry games. Look, dude, some of these are going to be kind of funny, so I'm going to go kind of fast. But Indiana, Purdue, they're both 3-8. Purdue's favored by 6, and Purdue is favored by 6.5 points, and both of them are not going to bowl season. Who are you taking to Indiana this week?
I might just take Indiana.
Right. Why not? It's Okay, let's go with Mikey Two Guns in the house tonight. Or in the house today. So yeah. Jen B says, Southern and Grambling stayed on NBC at 2. Well, yeah, 2 for her, 11 for us. But yeah, Jen B says Akron is so bad. Yeah, they are. You know who else is so bad, Taryn? UConn and Massachusetts. UConn and UMass. It is a rivalry. UConn is 2-9. UMass is 3-8. The Minutemen. Huskies and Minutemen. Huskies are known for basketball. Minutemen, no one really knows who they are. Just kidding. But UMass is actually favored by 1 point. Who are you taking in that rivalry, Taryn?
I'll take UMass.
I'm gonna go Minutemen too. Be nice to Mikey here in the chat room. Let's go UMass.
Yep.
So, okay. Next up, Taryn. Golly, man, these games suck today. Oh my gosh, these games are bad. Okay, because some of these are just like, wow, these are just going to be so lopsided. All right, so next up, Sarah, let's just go. Golly, man, the line for Colorado, Utah is 28.5 points for Utah. I'm sorry. I think Utah's going to win that game, Taryn.
Yeah, I think Utah's going to win as well. Both these teams have one thing in common. They started off promising, and then they fell down the slope,
Yo, and that was
especially Colorado.
Oh, yeah, they fell down the summit, man. Down the slope. They were slipping and sliding, yeah. Number 15, Arizona at 8-5, taking on Arizona State at 3-8. Arizona is favored by 13 points. Taryn, is it safe to say the Wildcats are going to smack around the Sun Devils today?
I'm being told that Arizona State could be putting Arizona on upset alert, but I'll only believe it when I see it.
Yeah,
I mean, Arizona State has only their only true big win was against UCLA, but that was when they were shuffling around their third and fourth string quarterback. So give me the Wildcats. Bear down.
Give me the Wildcats too. Bear down. I love it. Mikey is just in the chat room just doing his thing. He says UMass is such an embarrassment. They should have stayed in Division I AA in the FCS. That's sad. And yeah, Utah says Utah's going to eat. Yeah, Utah is going to eat, and they're going to eat good. They're going to feast tonight. They're having a second Thanksgiving. ASU always plays them hard. But yeah. Marcus says that as well. Should be a fun game there. But okay. This is sad. I'm not going to say it. Why did I even look at this? We have a Tennessee battle here. Vandy at 2-9 taking on number 21 Tennessee at 7-4. Tennessee served by 27 points. Vandy's a baseball school, so safe to say the Vols will get a victory there. Correct?
Tennessee's also kind of a baseball school as well.
Yeah, they are.
I'll take the Vols on this one.
Yeah, both these are baseball schools for sure, but yeah, Vols all day. Northwestern coming off of a weird year, but they're 6-5. Hey, good for them. Illinois is at 5-6. Illinois favored by 6.5 points. Who are you taking, Taryn?
I'll take Illinois for this one. Illinois knows that if they don't win, they're not going to be bowling, and they don't want to lose to Northwestern.
Yeah.
They?
I know, right? Dude, who wants to lose to Northwestern? Just kidding. But yeah, we shall see. We got Wisconsin and Minnesota going head-to-head today. Paul Bunyan, this is always a fun game, right? Wisconsin at 6-5, Minnesota at 5-6. Wisconsin is actually favored by 3 points here. This is Packers-Vikings right here, Taryn. I mean, who are you taking?
The border battle. I'm going to take Wisconsin for this one.
Yeah, I'm going to take Wisconsin too. And if they lose, if they lose this game, I mean, look, right now the Vikings will clearly smack around the Packers. Actually, we don't know that because the Vikings are so hit and miss. I don't know. Yeah, never mind. But Marcus Lowesgreat is taking Minnesota for the upset. He's taking the Vikings. I love how I turned this into the NFL so fast. I love it. But
Gophers?
Good. Yep, taking the Golden Gophers. He's taking the Golden Gophers, man. And hockey, this is one hell of a game in hockey. So, all right. Next up, Taryn, Virginia Tech. I mean, some of these are just a waste, but these are just fun to go over. I don't care. Virginia Tech 5-6. Virginia 3-8. Virginia Tech is favored. The Hokies by 1.5 points. Taryn, who you got?
To clinch a spot in the bowl game, I'm taking Virginia Tech.
Hey, we're going Virginia Tech. Go Hokies. Okay, Apple Cup, Taryn. Did I ever tell you about this one time I was on Twitter a couple years ago when it was still Twitter, and this person was like, I forgot what they said. It was during the Apple Cup, and this person tweeted and said, "You guys don't know how disappointed I was to see that Apple Cup was trending and find out that it was a football game and not a new product from Apple." That would have been cool. The Apple Cup. It does everything, Taryn. You can drink coffee while looking at the scores on the same mug. You know what I mean? Like you can you could be on social media and drink at the same time. With the same device. You can pair your AirPods. Yeah. Okay, this is going way too far. But anyway, okay. Washington State. Washington. This is seriously a joke. Like seriously. I wish Pullman was better this year, man, the Cougs, but Wazoo at 5-6. Number 4, UW, the Huskies at 11-0. UW is favored by 15.5 points. I mean, freaking really, Taryn. Do we have to pick this game?
Yeah, Washington's going to roll through the Cougars.
Yeah.
And they know that a loss would kick them out of playoff contention. So give me the Huskies. Woof.
Huskies all day. He said woof. The Sunshine Showdown, Taryn. That's right. It is the Sunshine Showdown, or whatever it's called, I think. But number 5, Florida State taking on Florida. This is sad. Actually, this isn't sad. This is kind of weird. Florida State, number 5 in the country. They're 11-0, undefeated. Florida, 5-6, and somehow Florida State's only favored by 6.5 points.
Well, if you remember last week, Florida State did lose their quarterback, or was it the previous week? Either way, it was. I think it was against Miami that Florida State lost its quarterback, Jordan Travis, and I do feel bad for the guy because that is a season-ending injury. So yeah, it was 2 weeks ago that Florida State lost Jordan Travis. Their new quarterback is Tate Rodemaker, who is a junior from Valdosta, Georgia. So he did get a game under his belt as he took on North Alabama, but now he gets an even bigger jump from as the Noles take on Florida. So I still think Florida State's going to pull it out, but don't be surprised if Florida State gets put on upset alert.
Wouldn't that be something? I'm going to take the Noles too, but man, how crazy would that be? Okay, so I'm going to hyper speed through some of these here, Taryn. We got number 18, Notre Dame and Stanford. Notre Dame at 8-3, Stanford at 3-8. Notre Dame is favored by 26 points. Taryn, do you think they cover?
No, I still think they win. I think for some weird reason, Stanford is gonna throw everything at them, including the kitchen sink.
They might. I think they cover, but that'd be fun to see. Number 1, Georgia and Georgia Tech. Are you serious? I'm just kidding. 11-0, Georgia, number 1 in the land. Georgia Tech 6-5. They're favored by 24 points. Did they cover?
Yes.
Poor Jackets. You're mean. Just kidding. I think they'll fight them, but it should be, I don't know. I don't know if they'll cover or not, but let's see. Number 24, Clemson at 7-4. South Carolina, the Gamecocks at 5-6. The South Carolina battle. Clemson is favored by 7.5 points. What do you think, Darren?
I mean, South Carolina needs to win in order to go bowling, but I think Clemson just narrowly pulls it out.
Me too. North Carolina, the Tar Heels, they're unranked now at 8-3, taking on number 22 NC State at 8-3 as well. This should be a very fun game. UNC is actually favored by 2.5 points. Who are you taking?
I'm taking UNC in this one. Yeah, I think Drake May pulls out the W.
I think he just keeps adding to the resume that he's going to be picked in the first round somewhere and make a team very good. I still think he's a very good quarterback. So, yeah, good stuff there. And, yeah, Taryn, there's really not much more to look at. I mean, this is kind of bland. So, okay, here we go, y'all. We're going to roll on into what should be. I mean, we have Texas A&M and LSU today. I mean, that should be kind of cool, I guess. Number 14, LSU. Texas A&M, 7-3. LSU's 3-8. LSU's favored by 12 points. What do you think about that game, Taryn?
I'm taking LSU in this one.
Yeah, me too. Definitely LSU. And then, of course, the last one before the big one. Kentucky at 6-5. LSU, number 10. I'm sorry. Louisville. I said LSU. At number 10. They're at 10-1. Louisville is favored by 7.5 points. Taryn, think that's pretty accurate?
Yeah, kind of. I think Kentucky can battle, but Louisville's going to ultimately come out on top.
Yeah, that's going to be, I'm with you on that one. All right, Taryn. Okay, so here we go. Game of the week. I don't even care about the time. They love to play their game at 12 o'clock their time, 9 o'clock for us on the West Coast. Here we go. This is the only game that means anything. Just kidding. But at least this week. Since this is crazy, man. I love this. Since 1897, October 16th, 1897, to be precise, in Ann Arbor, Michigan would host that 4-letter word. Michigan would go on they would tie the next year, but dominate all the way until 1919, where Ohio State would finally win 3 games in a row, 1919, 1920, and 1921. Michigan would then go on and dominate the rest of the 20s until the very end, with Ohio State winning a few games there. They would go back and forth with them for a while. Ohio State would go on a streak from 1934 to 1937. Michigan would then take 3 more games from 38 to 40. There was a tie in 41. Ohio State would only win 2 games in 1942 and 1944, and Michigan would go dominant again, 43, 45, 46, 47, and 48. Another tie in 1949. In the 50s, Taryn, Michigan wins 2 in 50 and 51. Ohio State wins just 1 here in 52. Michigan wins another in 53. Ohio goes for 2 more in 54 and 55. I mean, they went back and forth in the 50s. It was pretty fun. In the 60s, Ohio State would take it all the way from 60 to 63, where Michigan would win it in 64. The very next year in 65, Ohio State would answer back, and Michigan would answer back yet again in 66. Ohio State wins 2 more years after that. Michigan wins 1. Ohio State wins another in 70. Michigan wins another one in 71. You gotta love how this goes back and forth, Taryn. You gotta love it. Ohio State will dominate the next couple of years with a tie in the middle in 73. Michigan wins 76 through 78. We're looking at the fun days here, man. Bo Schembechler, Woody Hayes. Oh, you gotta love this rivalry. You gotta love it. When we get into the 70s here, Ohio State dominates until 75 with a tie in 73, as I said earlier. Michigan will dominate from 76 to 78. They go back and forth slightly yet again from 79 to 84. From 85 to 86, Michigan gets it done. Ohio throws 1 wrench in the gears. Michigan dominates yet again from 88 to 91. A tie at 92. Getting into the 90s, Michigan wins in 93. Ohio State wins in 94. 95 through 97 belonged to Michigan. 98 belonged to Ohio State. And then heading off the century, Michigan will win at 98, 99, and 2000. However, the 2000s were quite the gift here, or quite the thing to cheer on in the 2000s, man, because Ohio State would dominate 01, 02, 04, 05, 06, 07, 08, and 09, which is crazy. I guess there's a vacated win here too with 2010, but whatever. Anyway, Michigan wins 1 in 2003, and it looked like it was going to be the same exact thing. Moving forward, in 2011, Michigan wins 1. Ohio State goes back to dominating from 2012 all the way to 2019. But Taryn, the last 2 years, that red has been painted blue by Michigan, winning in Ann Arbor in 2021 and last year in the shoe in 2022. Taryn, the overall here, Michigan leads 60, 51, and 6. Yes, there were some vacated games in there. But oh boy, this is crazy. 118 meetings between these two. The 119th is today. Love that. That was fun. Thank you, Wikipedia. And Taryn, today, 11-0 meets 11-0. Number 2, Michigan State. Number 3, Michigan. Michigan is favored by 3 points. Ohio State comes into this game looking pretty damn dominant. This year, I mean, they produced C.J. Stroud. The kid is in Houston right now playing great football. The whole crap happened with Harbaugh. We get it. All that, whatever, all that crazy stuff. But I will tell you right now, these two teams today, it's going to be a show. So, McCord, 212 for 318. He has 2,899 yards, 22 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. McCarthy, well, he's also thrown 4 picks, 18 touchdowns of his own, 2,335 yards, and he's 175 for 237. Henderson, On the ground has been pretty good. 118 carries, 794 yards, 10 touchdowns. Corum, 180 carries, 888 yards, and 20 touchdowns. Then we have Harrison, of course, Marvin Harrison Jr., 62 receptions, 1,093 yards, and 13 touchdowns. And Wilson with 37 receptions and 612 yards and 10 touchdowns. Those are all the leaders on this team. The chat room is going off. Gen B is just going all over, Xing out the M's. Marcus is taking Michigan today by 20. He don't even care. He's apologizing to Jen. Jen says here Marvin Harrison is about to go off. Says Trey is awesome. Taryn, man, what a game. Give it to us, man. Who are you taking and why?
I'm taking Michigan in a close one just because I feel Michigan might have a better ceiling even without Jim Harbaugh coaching. And they obviously want to play for their coach. And whoever wins this goes to the Big 12 or Big 10 championship game next week. And this could be an elimination game in terms of the FBS. Though I don't know if either team would fall out of that top four, especially Michigan, because I don't think Michigan has too many games. I mean, they had the one against Penn State. Last week they barely beat Maryland, which I guess is okay, except Maryland isn't really the hottest team, though they are bowling. So I'll take Michigan for this one.
Well, Taryn, you're taking Michigan. Gen B says boo, Taryn, in the chat room. Marcus Lowe's Grace says Harrison is the best wide receiver prospect I've ever seen. The dude is amazing. And because of that and a couple other things, Taryn, I'm going Ohio, man, in this game. So Ohio State, you're taking Michigan. Why not? This is a fun game. Next week, Taryn, we have ourselves a couple good ones, man. This is going to be good. New Mexico State, number 25 Liberty facing off in the Conference USA Championship. We already have the Pac-12 Championship set. Number 6 Oregon versus number 4 Washington. We're going to see how that ends up today with the numbers. But regardless, they're playing. Texas awaits whoever they're going to play in the Big 12 Championship. Miami of Ohio will be taking on Toledo in the MAC Championship. Nobody yet in the Mountain West Championship. We have here in the SEC Championship, Georgia and Alabama already set. Tulane awaits somebody in the American Athletic in the AAC Championship. The Sun Belt, we have Troy awaiting somebody. We also have in the ACC Championship already set, number 10 Louisville versus number 5 Florida State. And in the Big Ten Championship, number 17 Iowa will find somebody to play. Just kidding. They await whoever in the Big Ten Championship. So we're almost there with all the championships all set. But there you go, dude. That was a fun one. And oh my gosh, that should be a fun one today. Let's get it, y'all. Oh my goodness, what a fun show. Taryn, we went a little bit over. My apologies, man, but that was a fun show.
It's all good.
Well, let me tell you, man, that was a fun one. Great games today. Oh, man. We got some good pick'em in there. Make sure you check out all these awesome shows here at IA Sports Radio. Please check out all these awesome games here today. So many playoff games, y'all. So much to get into. Let's do it. Darren, where can all these... Well, okay, whoa. Before we do any of that, anything, once again, as we always do at the end of the show, Darren, anything you want to say, anything football, college football, high school football, whatever it is, man, anything you want to end off the show with?
USC's regular season is finally done.
Thank God. That deserves an applause button. And a yeehaw. Because, Darren, yes, the nightmare is over. Off goes Caleb Williams of the NFL and probably Lincoln Riley too. I'm just saying. That's my prediction. But anyway, thank God that's over. And can we just get back to USC football next year in some capacity? We're going to the Big Ten. Let's see what happens. Pac-12 is pretty much over with. We'll see. But anyway, Darren, where can all these diehards find you, man?
You can find me on X, formerly known as Twitter, mainly at Teran Rodriguez1. That's Teran Rodriguez and then the number 1.
And you can find me up boy Larry B at the THENSQLB53. Also follow us on Twitter at 3 and Out, all spelled out, CEIE. Check us out there, plenty of stuff today on there. Tune in. It's going to be fun. Check us out Saturdays, 7 a.m. Pacific Time, 10 a.m. Eastern. Show some love. Big shout out once again to our sponsor, Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. The jerky that's on a whole other level. Delicious jerky. Also, y'all, check us out, iSportsRadio.com. All kinds of fun stuff. Thank you everyone in the chat room. Michael Two Guns, Jen B, Marcus Rose Great. Thank you all for listening. As I always say, y'all, put God first, put love first, be kind. We will see y'all next week, man. For your boy Taryn Rodriguez, from me, your boy Larry B. We'll see y'all next week. Until then, take care. And as always, God bless.